Good morning, students. Class. Today's class is for 7th standard students. Today, the chapter, the lesson, that is unit number 8, the town by the sea. This is written by Amita Ghosh here. He is a Bengali writer. So, in this lesson, we will be seeing, as the lesson itself is saying, sea and town. The town which is very close to the sea. So the story begins in the town which is very nearer or close to the sea. Many of us are maximum unaware of many things. The people who lives in the coastal areas, what kind of a life they lead, what kind of a life procedure is there. But whereas we living in the middle of this cities, so we are maximum unaware of such things here. Whenever we go to any coastal areas to visit or travel, or we learn from our book, then only we'll come to know what is the present life situation, or what is their lifestyle and food style. That is all we'll come to know whenever we learn or we read or we travel and we see them. So this is how in this lesson we will be seeing the town which is very nearer to the sea, what happens there, what is the situations, and how the nature uh, plays an important role in this, whereas some areas which are in a coastal areas and the Deccan plateau and in the hilly areas, whereas in the some lowlands, so this nature varies from place to place. That is what we will be learning here. And before, as usual, there is a pre-reading also is also there, which is much connected to this lesson, that is the town by the sea. So whereas here the whole story, as well as in the pre-reading, we will be learning about the nature and the calamities or the disasters we get from the nature, and how to overcome from these calamities and the disasters, and what are the precautions we have to take before such things happens. So this is what we will be learning here. So recently we also had the floods here in the last few days back. So you might have seen a special task was being implemented here. They were here just to rescue the people who are what who have got so much damaged, and who have lost their lives in this floods, and and many of them have lost their precious crops, and everything is being collapsed there. And there was a special task which was just have come here to help the people who are there in trouble, and many of them they have been survived because of this special task. That is what we will be learning in this lesson. And not only just learning this lesson, as usual I will be telling you whatever the topic or the theme we read in this lesson. Immediately after this video, you have to get the more and more information from your net, so that it helps you a lot, just not only to read this lesson, but apart from that we'll get a very much good knowledge also, so that in the coming days or in coming classes that may help you a lot. Isn't that, students? So apart from this, as usual, note on the new words, note on their meanings also, and some of the new words, wherever we find them as a noun as well as a verb, and somewhere we find them as an adjective also. So note on even that small things also. And if possible, note down even some sentences of your own, that particular word, whichever word you get the meaning, try to write the sentences of your own, which helps you a lot. Okay, so let's begin today's lesson, the town by the sea. First is the pre-reading, so we'll start with the pre-reading. Okay, so have you ever gone on the school trip? You have. Good. On July 18, 2013, the students of Navabharata School went on a trip to Chandragiri. It was early morning. They climbed the hill. The town and the fields below looked like they were sleeping in the morning sun. They roamed around and enjoyed the beauty of nature from different points. They had a good lunch and came back. So here the pre-reading is being given. There you can see there are two paragraphs, whereas in the first paragraph we are just learning about a trip, school trip, Navabharata school trip. And as we know that a trip is a very enjoyable moments, we enjoy a lot, we spend the happiest time there. But whereas in the second part, second paragraph, we find a very big disaster there, calamity, where there is a totally sadness, anxiety. So this is what the comparison is being given there, when the nature, when we talk or speak about nature, what kind of disasters we may get from the nature, when somewhere we are happily enjoying in the nature, but whereas the same nature makes so many harms to us. That is what we will be seeing in the paragraph 2. So here Navabharata school students on June 18, 2013, they have gone to a trip, a city called a town Chandragiri, where it was a hilly area. So they were so happy, and they were just early morning it was, and it was very beautifully, as we have seen, or we have gone some hilly areas also. So early morning it will be always some climate is too cool, weather is very calm and silent, and everything looks so beautiful. The nature, the persons who likes and who praises the nature, they are much fond of such things. And this school students, now Bharata school students, they are in Chandragiri now, they are enjoying the whole nature there. And that when they are up in the hill, they are seeing that the town and the fields below looked like just they were sleeping in the morning sun. Everything was silent because early morning it was. The fields as well as the village, it looked just they were all sleeping still, and they roamed everywhere on the hill, and they enjoyed, and even they saw the beauty of the nature from the different points of the views, and they took so many photos, and they played there, and they had a good lunch, and after everything they returned back to their home now. This is what a very happiest moment in the Chandragiri. Now the same thing, it was all peaceful, what we have found here exactly different it is there. But on the same day, on the June 18, 2013, same day in far off Uttarakhand, there was a natural calamity. The fury of a nature was terrible and disastrous. There was an unprecedented cloudburst causing flash floods and landslides. Hundreds of people lost their lives. Look at this, exactly same what I have said here. Many of them, they have lost their lives because there was a cloudburst on June 18 to 2013. This is Chandragiri, and here we are talking about the Uttarakhand. It is a very northern state, and where we have seen it is some hilly area. It is so there was the day June 18. It was a very bad day for those people. There was a natural calamity. Immediately there was a cloud burst, and this is an unprecedented event. By the nature, so there was a terrible disaster everywhere, calamity, just hani agli because nobody were knowing about such nature's calamity. And floods, ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ನೀರು ಬಂದು ಊರೆಲ್ಲ ಮುಳುಗೋಗ್ತದೆ. Isn't that is what floods is. And it is an hilly area. So casually the landslide, ಗುಡ್ಡ ಕುಸಿದು ಬರ್ತದೆ. Isn't that? So ಮಣ್ಣುನು ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಕುಸಿದು ಬೀಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. So that is what we call as a landslide. So hundreds of people, because of this, they have lost their lives. Many of them drowned in the water. Many of them, they have come under this landslide. So the totally opposite, two different events happened there in the Chandragiri and in the Uttarakhand, where in the Chandragiri we have seen the students enjoying along in the beauty of the nature, but whereas the same nature is making so much calamity or the disasters here. That is what the difference between these two events. What we can see, how the nature turns, it gives us the happiness as well as the sadness also. So same thing is being followed here in the through the lesson here, the whole lesson here also we will see the same disaster, unprecedented disasters. And we'll be seeing how the person who is there in this story will overcome his sadness. And he is the person who is there in the story is a scientist, and he is a director of one of the research center who stays in Malacca, Car Nicobar Island, and he along with his family stays there. I think just note down that Malacca and Car Nicobar, they are very new places maybe for you. Just get those situations or so some where they are all situated. So Port Blair, Malacca and Car Nicobar, they are the very new places here. And in this story, the scientist, he is a director of one of the research center. So he overcomes, he also loses somebody there in his this natural disaster there, and in the end just he will just to overcome this whole thing, this disaster and this sadness and sorrowness, what is the thing he collects from that rubble there, that is what we will be seeing in this whole story. So just note down the new words, where are you find new words. So some are new words where here calamity is there. Maybe unprecedented, swirling, rafter. So as we go on reading, we will get some more words, then we can note down here. So there are new words. So we will begin today's lesson here. The man, as I have said, he is a scientist here. So on December 25, 2004, just the story where Chandragiri, the students, Navabharata school students have gone for the picnic on June 18, 2013. But whereas this incident in this lesson, it is dated as December 2004. The director was in a Port Blair. Look at the places here. He is, so where do we find this Port Blair? Where is Port Blair? Just get that from the net, or as many of you, I think you know, already are learned in your social studies. It belongs to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, isn't that? Which is situated in the Bay of Bengal here. So, and it is an Union territory also. So, director, he is of a Port Blair. He was on his way to New Delhi. So now he is in Port Blair, but he stays in Malacca, a very small town, very small village in Car Nicobar Islands. Now here he is going to New Delhi. That is on December 20, 25th December 2004. So he was traveling to Delhi, and since he was traveling for official reasons, he had left his family in Malacca. He alone was traveling to Delhi. Now he is staying in Port Blair. He has come from Malacca. His parents are staying in his family is staying in Malacca. Now he is in Port Blair. Tomorrow morning he will be taking the flight and he will be going to the New Delhi. So since he was traveling for official reasons, he had left his family in Malacca. He spent the night in the Hojo Circuit House, which stands close to the water. On the morning of the 26th, he was woken by the shaking of his bed. He found the floor heaving and started running out of the building. Then his mobile phone rang. He saw that his wife was calling from Malacca, Karnikova. He cut off the call and decided to phone back later. So the night on 25th night, he is staying in Port Blair, and one of the guest house he is staying, and woke up. Why does he woke up is because his bed was being started shaking there. he just woke up, and as he saw, his bed was shaking, and even he found even the floor was also shaking there, heaving. So, and as without unknowingly, just he was becoming imbalanced, and he was starting running in one of in random position, randomly directions. So he started running out of the building and just wanted to know what is happening there, why everything is shaking there. Then his mobile rang. Immediately he got a call from his wife. Then he saw the number, and he understood that that was a call from Malacca, where his family was there and his wife was calling him. So that was not the particular time for him to talk with his wife. So he cut the phone. So he thought that he can call it afterwards. Just he wanted to know why the whole building or the earth is everything is shaking. Just he wanted to know more and more about that. So he came out of the his room. Now when the ground was still, he hit the call button, but there was no answer, and he wondered if the network was down. Then he observed a strange phenomenon. The water in the harbor had begun to rise very rapidly, and the anchor ships seems to be swirling. He ran to the higher ground with others. Then it occurred to the director that Nicobar Islands are low-lying islands, and some, like Car Nicobar Islands, stand no more than a few meters above the sea level at their highest point. This made him anxious. So then what happens is, just he cut the call of his wife. What he thought is he can call her later, then he can have a talk there. So but immediately he saw that everything little bit was still means ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಶಾಂತ ಆಯಿತು. Whatever the earth the building was heaving and shaking, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದಮೇಲೆ then he called the his wife. So but there was no answer, because she was unable to pick the phone there. He couldn't get the answer. Nobody was picking the phone. Just he again cut off the call, and he thought that there may be some network problem or something there. Then what does he does is, he observed a strange phenomenon, that the water in the harbor had begun to rise. There he looked from the window, from the his window. There he saw the sea, the ships, the sorry, the water in the harbor has begun to rise up. We can see the waves raising in a very highest raises were there. So that is what he saw through the window, and anchor ships seem to be swirling. You might have seen the ships ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೋಟ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ, ದಡಿ ಹಾರ್ಬರ್, isn't that? So there he saw that even the ships were also swirling. ನೀರಿನ ರಭಸಕ್ಕೆ ಅವೆಲ್ಲಾನು ಏನಾಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕತ್ತಿತ್ತು, ತಿರುಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ. Okay, so he ran to the higher ground with others. So just to get more and more, to see more and more what is happening there in the harbor, he went to the other floors, on the higher floors upstairs. And there, then it occurred to the director that Nicobar Islands are low-lying islands, and some, like Car Nicobar Islands, stand no more than a few meters. Then he got that, he saw that, and he imagined and he thought, and he come to the conclusion that the tsunami has hit here. The tsunami has hit here. So he knew that, whereas when he saw the sea, he saw the very huge waves, and even the anchor ships were also swirling. And when he was being shaken, when he was asleep, so he got the clear picture that the tsunami has hit that particular place, that island. So now he just thought of his wife and his children who were living in Malacca. Malacca was also a very low-lying island, which is in a Car Nicobar. Then surely when it is hit to the Port Blair, then there might also have been a major calamity. That is what the scientist, the director, was thinking. Now just he was imagining what about his wife and what about his children, because the tsunami, the disaster, which is a very horrible disaster, it is an earthquake which undertakes in the sea there. It is that is what tsunami is. So because of result of that, huge waves and water will overflow, and it comes into the cities, and because of that everything will be merged, or everything will be, many of them will be drowned in the sea water also, and many of them will lose their lives also. That is what here also happened when he went to the upstairs and he saw the huge waves in the sea. Then he got the idea, whereas the Malacca is also very low lying, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಹಳ ಸಮುದ್ರ ದಡದಕ್ಕಿಂತಲೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೆಳಗಿರಬಹುದಂತ ಭೂಮಿ. Casually the water may come into the city, and there might also be a huge disaster or the calamity. That is what he thought, and he was little bit anxious also, nervous also. Now what about his family? That's what he was thinking, and this made him anxious also, because now he got the clear picture that tsunami has hit the particular islands, surrounding islands, even Malacca also being hit by the this tsunami also. So the director knew that a government office in Car Nicobar had a satellite phone. He dialed the number again and again. When he got through, he received the news that Malacca had been badly hit and there were some survivors. But as for his family, there was no news. See, when he dialed his wife, she was unable to pick the phone because there was a this tsunami has hit there. So when he understood what is the situation, what is the phenomenon there in the Port Blair as well as in the Malacca and Car Nicobar, so directly he wanted to just call, but there was no network was there. So what he thought is just he wanted to go to the he can call it through the satellite phone. I think you know the satellite phones also, which will be directly connected to the through the satellites. We will get the connection through the satellites, but whereas the phones what are we are connecting nowadays are we will be getting the connections through these towers, isn't that? So he thought of getting this. So what he did is he knew that one of the government office there will be walkie talkie or there will be a satellite phone, then he can connect and get the more and more information from the Malacca. So he dialed the number and he got through, and he received the news that Malacca is also been badly hit. So even Malacca nallunu tsunami bandu hogide anta he got the important very sad news from the government office when he called through the satellite phone. When he called through the satellite phone, just underline that, satellite phone. So what he did is, but as for his family, there was no news. When he was asking the people, those who were speaking from Malacca, the government office, just he wanted to know what about his family, but at the particular time or the moment, they were not ready to give any answer because they didn't get any information about his family now. But still, he didn't get the time being. He was just calling and getting in more information from the government office, but as he tried many times, but there was no information from his family side. So now what he does is the director kept calling, and in the afternoon he learned that his 13-year-old son had been found clinging to the rafters of a church. He spoke to his son directly later that night and learned that the family had been in the bedroom when the earthquake started. A terrifying sound from the direction of the sea had driven them into the drawing room, but the boy had kept running. When the wave hit, the house dissolved into splinters, and the boy was carried away as if on a wing. Flailing his arms, he managed to take hold of something that seemed to be fixed to the earth. Through wave after wave, he managed to keep his grip. When the water receded, he saw that he was holding on to the only upright structure. So, when the director didn't get any response from his family side, so just he was again and again trying to call there and getting some more and more information. But in the afternoon, the same day, the same afternoon of the 26th of that day, he got some information as that his only son was being found there clinging to the rafters of the church. So already is in the picture also is given there what is a rafter and what is, you can see here, this is a rafter here, this is a place where he is clinging here. You can see the water level up to this level, the water has come there. The boy is safely sitting there holding tightly to the rafter of the church here. So This information was being given from the office, from the government office, what the director had got. Now only his son was being found there, and he clinging to the church rafter there, and he spoke to his son directly later that night. So somehow the people, the rescue team, tried to get that boy, and they have brought him to the safe place. Now the boy is also being directly, he had a talk with his father also the same night, and from his son, he got that family had been in the bedroom when the earthquake started. When he had a talk with those people, they knew that. And even he had a talk with his boy also. What he said is, the same night when they were all sleeping, the earth started shaking, and there was a huge and a terrifying earthquake, and everybody were being the when the earthquake started, a terrifying sound from the direction of the sea had been driven them into the drawing room. Because of that loud, huge, terrible sound, everybody of them, they have come outside or from the bedroom to the drawing room, as if because everything was started shaking there. And but the boy had kept running. But as he knew that something was happening there, so what he did is he started running to the rescue, the safe place. So he started moving outside of his house. When the wave hit, the house dissolved into splinters. As it was a very nearer to the sea or the ocean, the waves and the water from the sea hit to his house, and everything has collapsed. ಆ ಹಿಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜೋರಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇಂದ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಮನೇನು ಏನಾಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತದ್ರಿ, ಕೊಲಾಪ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. That is what is being given there, dissolved into splinters. ಎಲ್ಲ ಪುಡಿ 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 ಪುಡಿಯಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಒಡೆದು ಹಾಳಾಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ, isn't that so? And the boy was carried away as if on the wind, and in that water the boy was being driven away. ಅವನಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗೈತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಅವ್ನು ಗಾಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ತೇಲ್ತಾ ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, just he went up to that church rafter. There he had a very fixed, something was there which was fixed and which was hard there. So just what he did is, he held his both hands, and he was tightly holding them. He sat there. That he found that the church rafter was a hard thing. Then he found himself safe there. Then he holded it tightly, and he sat there as we have seen in the picture. And just he was flailing his arms, ಕೈಯನ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಳಗಾಡಿಸೋಣ, as if we are in swimming, we are unable to swim. That is what he came up to there, and he managed to take hold of that something there, and he fixed and he but the keeping his grip tightly hold, grip ನ ಬಿಡ್ಲಾರ್ದಂಗೆ ಅವನು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನ್ರಿ, ಆ ರಾಫ್ಟರ್ಗೆ ಗಟ್ಟಿಯಾಗಿ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ. Through wave after wave he managed to keep the grip. As we have seen, many waves started hitting the place. ಬರ್ತಾನೆ ಇತ್ತು, ನೀರ್ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ ಇತ್ತು, ಬಟ್ ದ ಬಾಯ್, ಆ ಹುಡುಗ ಅದನ್ನ ರಾಫ್ಟರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುವಂತ ಹಿಡಿತವನ್ನ ಬಿಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಟ್ಲಿ he was holding it, and he was sitting very firmly there. When the water receded, he saw that he was holding on to the only upright structure. But when he saw that after the water level was little bit low, ನೀರು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಯಿತು, waves ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ, then he saw that just he was holding to the somewhat ಮನೆದೇನೋ ಛತ್ ಇರ್ತದ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಫ್ಲೋರ್ ಇದು ಇರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಸೀಲಿಂಗ್, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಮ್ಯಾಲಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಅಪ್ರೈಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಇದೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ I am standing or holding there. That is what he found that himself there, and he thought that he is safe there. But what about his mother, and what about his other family members? He was not at all knowing that. But somehow he came in that water, flailing his hand, and he got the rafter, and just with he holded it tightly with that grip. He stood there, and when he saw that now he is safe, but just what he was imagining or he was thinking is about his family members and about his mother now. So after this is what everything now, the director who is there in the Port Blair, he had a call. Now he just is talking to his son. This is what the son is all explaining to his father. Now the director now got all the information about Malakka and about his son and about his family now. And this is what he got this through the satellite phone, not from his personal phone. This is what the satellite phone, we will be having such satellite phones in the government offices or in the police stations. So you might have seen also. So here this is what the total picture or the total scene, what the boy is explaining everything to his son, how he is now, he is safe, and but he was unable to see or look or get any information about his mother and about his family members. So here we will stop today's lesson, and next is just read once again the complete lesson, so you will get some light imagination how to understand how to get the final climax story. This is so after this we will see that how this boy was being saved, and how the director and their son will meet together, and how the director will come out of this whole scenario, this whole calamity, whole disaster, and what is that things he collects from that rubble there. Okay, thank you very much, students.